Welcome back to the Red Cartel Podcast, our second podcast. If you hadn't seen our first one, it's up on our YouTube channel, and check out our little clips on TikTok as well. My name's Will Johnson. I am 1/3 of a Red Cartel, big Arsenal fan. Got my friend here, Leone McDevitt. He is another third of the Red Cartel and a massive Liverpool fan. How are you doing, Leon? How's everything going to this week?
I'm all right, thank you, Will. Not too bad, mate. Welcome everybody to the Red Cartel podcast. As Will just said, there's a couple of clips up on YouTube, on TikTok, and there's a couple of videos on our YouTube channel, the Red Cartel Pod. How's my week been? Hot is how it's been.
It's been warm, hasn't it, mate? Been warm. Finally, summer is here.
Yeah, but being typical English, I'm like, mate, it's too hot. I'm done now. I have to keep putting big 2-litre bottles of water in my freezer and then putting a sock over them and using them as a cold water bottle to chill myself down in the evening, which sounds like I'm 80.
Yeah, it's not the worst thing you've done with socks, though, is it, boss? So we got to think that's decent.
Demonetised immediately.
Big warning.
But
adult content.
Football-wise, how's this week been? Better for Liverpool because we beat Betis 1-0 in a friendly.
They're in America as well, aren't they? We're
playing you tonight / tomorrow morning at midnight. Well, midnight tonight is Liverpool Arsenal.
Yeah, because we're filming this on the 31st, which is the Tuesday, so they're going to be playing tonight against Liverpool, against Man U. Obviously, Arsenal had a game against Man United in America last week. Arsenal won 2-1.
Yeah.
But then lost on penalties. They like to do their penalty shootouts at the end of each game in these tournaments.
It's America, isn't it?
Yeah, and I was 2-1. It's a friendly, so it doesn't really matter. But what I did enjoy was there was a potentially an offside goal that won it. And we all know how much Ten Hag loves to talk about offside goals against Arsenal, as he spent about 9 months last season talking about the fact that Garnacho wasn't really offside when he scored that second goal against Arsenal. But so yeah, it's kind of rocking in now. The pre-season is well underway. Teams are starting to get their players back. We're also well underway on the kind of the transfer window. Something that I wanted to lots of transfers going on at the moment. One thing I'd love to get your thoughts on, maybe an interesting transfer that you've heard of on a rumour. But one thing that did catch my eye, been rumbling on for a while now, is Osimhen to Chelsea. And I did read that it was potentially going to be a loan deal with an option to buy, which, if this is the case, this is going to be an amazing transfer for Chelsea. No risk whatsoever. Just probably a small loan fee they'll be paying, or probably loan Chelsea will be a large loan fee. But what do you think, Leon? Osimhen to Chelsea, do you think that's a game changer for them?
No. Immediate answer is no, because Chelsea don't know how to make a number 9 better than when he turned up.
Yes, yeah, they do have form for having great number 9s.
Just a few off the top of my head. Apart from when Mourinho was there, and I think that's because Mourinho actually is probably, even in some ways, a better manager than people even really give him credit for. Think about all their number 9s that they've had during the Abramovich and then into the Todd Bowley era. Even amazing names like Shevchenko, Crespo. Even Vialli wasn't as good as he was, even though he was good. Zola was arguably better, but he's a 10. And then you go Fernando Torres, Morata. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And so, will Victor Osimhen become a better player at Chelsea? No. Will he do well at Chelsea? probably because he's a lethal finisher and he's fast, and that's sort of what they need. But their manager, unless I'm proven incorrect, is Enzo Maresca.
It is Maresca, yeah. So old Leicester City manager. He was one of Pep's assistants as well.
Yeah.
I think he's only had a season managing with Leicester before he moved over to Chelsea.
Little sort of foreshadowing for something later, but Enzo Maresca was an absolute legend on Champ Manager. Amazing.
Yeah.
I think he played for Brescia, and then he, like in real life, he moved to like Juventus, I think. But incredible player, very funny to again link the defensive midfielders, slow-moving defensive midfielders tend to make the best managers.
Well, we had one, although he wasn't that slow, but he was good solid midfielder in Mickey. So
What, Arteta?
yeah.
Yeah. Well, he wasn't exactly fast. He
No,
normal.
he wasn't.
Like,
Yeah, but he wasn't slow. But
just
yeah, I get what you mean. They generally are
Yeah.
the more they seem to read the game very well, and then that works very well into management as well.
and they're in the middle of the pitch, if not slightly once removed a little bit back, so they've got a view of like everything going on in front of them, and they drop into centre back positions quite a lot. So yeah, I mean, tends to be that way. Don't know why, and very strangely, tends to be that all the defensive midfielder managers are really attacking, like in their actual ethos. Arteta has had to like temper his attacking nature back to like make a better Premier League sort of challenging team. Whereas if he had his own way, he would have just attack. But you can't do that, obviously.
Well,
but anyway,
we'll come on to the
we digress. To come back to the transfer. No, I don't think Osimhen will make or break Chelsea. They will be obviously better because they've got more firepower. But no, I don't think it'll make or break them. They need more than just him, for sure.
Yeah, great shot. And one thing I also say is that Serie A players, strikers, have had the history, really a history of kind of failing. Not failing, but failing to reproduce that form that they showed in Serie A in the Premier League. And we've already touched on a few like Sheva and Crespo, Mutu, but other things that stopped him performing to his best of abilities. But there's been so many over the years that have come in, really big reputations in Italy, really big reputations because of their performance in Italy on the world stage, and then come into the Premier League and not really hit the ground running. So it's hit and miss. I think it could be amazing for them because that's, no matter how much money they've spent over the last 2 to 3 seasons, they just have not managed to pinpoint a starting number 9 or a starting vocal striker.
No,
this could be it. This could be it, and it could be the case of this is what they needed. This was their final piece of their puzzle, and they could shoot on. I doubt it. I'm sure we'll be doing a Premier League prediction over the next couple of weeks, so we'll both see where we think Chelsea are going to finish. But it could be a bad one. I mean, not the only good thing. Obviously, having Osimhen on loan would be amazing for Chelsea, but also they've potentially managed to find a somewhere to ship Lukaku off, because I also hear part of this deal is going to be Lukaku going the other way for actual money. So it seems like a real win-win for Chelsea itself.
I know.
In talking about transfer window, I think you probably could have an entire hour show on the Chelsea transfer window.
Yeah.
Because they have been so prominent. Saw that they had signed another goalkeeper from Villarreal this week, a Danish goalkeeper.
Just need more of that.
Just to have just to stack those goalkeeping department that they've already gone and spent tens of millions of pounds on.
Does Kepa still play for him?
Kepa is on their books, yes, but he's
on loan at Real Madrid.
He was at Real Madrid. Wasn't he sitting at like third keeper at Real Madrid or something like that?
Yeah, well, they played like Lumin or whatever his name is.
Lumin while is it Courtois?
Courtois was
injured. So yeah, they've got Kepa. They've got
bench.
Sorry, what?
Sorry, fly just butt buzzing into my head. No, I was just going to say, just have like a 75, 80 million pound third choice keeper.
Yeah, and they spent like 25 million on Sanchez. I forget their other goalkeeper's name. I don't think they spent massively on him, but
Petrovic, or is that Tottenham?
Petrovic.
No. Yeah.
So lots of good things. They also brought in Dewsbury Hall as well earlier on in the season. That's going to be another game. My feeling on Chelsea is that they're making the same mistakes. It's a bit like Groundhog Day. They love just buying players, and it must be really exciting as a Chelsea fan to see new players. Because for me, I love it when Arsenal bring in new players. You get to learn about a new player, and you build that bond with them. But if I was a Chelsea fan over the last couple of seasons, I wouldn't even know who my team was. It's very hard to follow how many players that they brought in. So hopefully they're repeating that same mistake of buying in so many players and then taking that time to gel. Because annoyingly, I saw a Chelsea at the end of last season that if they started that form beginning in this season, they could be someone challenging for the top four. I don't think that's going to happen this season. But it'd be good. It'd be good to see.
I agree.
Going on the opposite end of the spectrum from Chelsea, not really seeing much movement for Liverpool this transfer window. Any rumours? Anything that you're keeping abreast of?
Plenty of rumours, and in fact, Arne Slot had an interview the other day to say the standard thing, which is like, I'd be surprised if there was no signings. But I take that as like a pinch of salt, like in boxing or MMA, when people are like, "How are you feeling coming up to this next fight?" And they're like, best training camp of my life. And it's like everyone always says that. So it's like, of course, Arne Slot's going to say, "Yeah, we're going to sign someone." I don't know. Do we need to sign somebody? Yeah. I think you always need to be improving in some way, even if it's investing in youth. So I think so, because we ran out of legs at the end of last season and couldn't keep materialising the same like luck or like pulling it out the fire. It got to a point where it ran out. It was like, wow, you can't score a last minute goal in every game. You can't concede in 22 of your games first and then win them all. It's like you're setting yourself up for failure. So I think we do need some players, and probably some players that fit into his system. And again, I mentioned him last time, but Nico Williams still buzzing around. There's a couple of other players. So the Inacio from Sporting, the left back.
Okay.
He's been, since halfway through last season, we were interested in him. I mean, it sort of goes hand in hand with being interested in their manager at a certain point before we got Arne Slot in. Yeah. So it seems to be what Liverpool are focusing on, probably the right areas, but it seems to be like an attacking addition, because we might lose one of the like strikers, or we maybe didn't have enough firepower last season. Potentially a sort of cover for defensive midfield, although there were rumours that Endo was going to be sold, but that got sort of put to bed by the fans. Funnily enough, there's a huge fan backlash because we love him, even though he's like not the best. He's just one of those warriors that you enjoy having in football.
You don't have to be the best player in your team to be loved by your fans. That's definitely one.
He does wear a gum shield though, and that annoys me.
Oh, fair enough, mate. He's going into war. Yeah, he's going to war. That's why.
Is he? Anyway, the next bit is that we're looking for a centre back as well, and so those areas are areas. A very small rumour was that we were going to sign Lumin, who I was talking about earlier, and let Kelleher go.
Yeah.
Because the estimated amount of money we would get for Kelleher is somewhere in the 20 to 40 million range. If you can do that, I suppose maybe you take it. I wouldn't, because I think he's a really good goalie and he could probably replace Alisson eventually. But is he going to wait around for like 5 years? Probably not. So from a Liverpool
Yeah.
perspective, we're not normally like this, which is strange. We're normally done. We go in, we get our targets, and then we don't do anything for the rest of the transfer window. But we'll see with this one. Maybe they're taking a bit of a different approach because of the change in style. And I'll tell you what, it has looked like a bit of a change in style as well. More elegant, but much more attacking than Klopp.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. I'm looking forward to the new season starting and seeing how Liverpool adapt to a new manager for the first time. Look, history will state that when a incredibly successful, long-serving manager leaves your club, the club struggles.
Tend to not do well.
Happened with Man U, happened with Arsenal, even down to showing my age. I remember Alan Kirbishley at Charlton, and he was there for a very long time, and they were massively, punching above their weight, and he leaves, and then they got relegated. So, not that I'm saying Liverpool will ever get relegated, but it just kind of history suddenly serves. But I'm looking forward to seeing a new style of play from Liverpool, and seeing those players really kind of push on as well.
On the notion of managers, I agree with you. I think that when there's a big institution and there's a big change in style, it can cause massive problems. To add to the list of people, like I said, Sam Allardyce at Bolton, Sean Dyche at Burnley, Eddie Howe at Bournemouth. Like, these managers had big things. However, I would say that in all of those cases, the team had started to drop off towards the end for all of them. And with us, we're either maintaining or at a slight... Like, we finished third last season and we're in a title race when we replaced our entire midfield. So I have a sneaking feeling that we're still going to be worse, but we're not going to be as bad. Maybe it's heart talking, but every manager or big club that I've thought about an institution leaving, they were on the down. Like, Arsenal were competing for titles, top four, Wenger left. Man United were like, titles, crap team. Somehow Fergie won the league with the worst Man United team I've ever seen, and then disappeared off and left David Moyes with like a terrible team. And so I don't know. I think the other teams are more about the style of play. So we'll see. I'm interested too. I'm excited and not.
Yeah, maybe Klopp left at the right time instead of waiting for that drop off, where he was then 2 or 3 seasons just battling for top 4. Maybe slipping out of it. He left at the right time. So it'd be really interesting. It's a lovely narrative for the next season as well. Really interesting about kind of can Arteta take Arsenal to the next level? Can Slot replicate what happened under Klopp? Can Man City continue? Will Chelsea finally find some form and some consistency to push? Man United, will they? No, less said about United, the better. But yeah, really, it's going to be a really interesting season, I think, coming on with all these new little things that are popping up. Yeah, I mean, in terms of kind of any other interesting signings, one thing I did see, and I found the reason I found it so interesting because it kind of really, in one transfer, demonstrates the might of the Premier League, is that Bournemouth have signed a Juventus defender. Now, he's a young Juventus defender. He wasn't in their team, but he was very, very highly thought of. His name is Hassan. I probably not pronounced it correctly. But on loan at Roma last season under Mourinho, played a lot of games in the second half of the season, and little old Bournemouth come along and they have the financial might to beat Juve. So I think a really interesting signing, and it'd be interesting to see how he performs in the Premier League in the season. Definitely, I think he'll be in a lot of people's fantasy football teams
for cheap. Yeah, possible outperform his price.
Yeah, well, he was expensive buy as well. So it's just crazy how someone like Bournemouth can go to a team like Juve and say, I'm gonna buy one of your prospects off you, and that prospect is going to want to come to us. So yeah.
Yeah, Serie A has fallen off quite heavily over like the last 10 years, isn't it? Like in a really big way.
Yeah.
Especially for like in the 90s, it was the place to be. It was like where all the best players went. But now it's like, and then it was like La Liga for a bit, and now it seems to be a sort of split between not La Liga but Real Madrid and Barcelona and the Premier League.
Yeah, there was always that period when the Premier League had all the best teams, but always Real Madrid and Barca had the best players. So you had the Messi, Ronaldo's, Suarez's came along, Henry. Like they could pick the best players out of the Premier League to take them. I don't think that's the case so much now, but mainly because Man City have most of the top players in the league, and they have so much financial might that they can withhold that temptation of Barca and Real. Gonna move on to our next segment, but obviously as an Arsenal fan, the biggest, well, a couple of big news. Firstly, we brought in another defender, probably our eighth player that can play left back, but he can always play centre back. Great defender, very very well thought of. My question to you, Leon, with Arsenal's defence now, and I think it is a cornerstone of our success over last season, definitely. But with our defence now, do you think Arsenal might be able to beat that Mourinho Chelsea record of 15 goals conceded in the league?
No.
Thank you very much. Good answer.
That'll never be beaten. And add in Calafiori. I mean, he's an amazing defender, but like man for man, Arsenal's defence isn't good enough to be. It's not as good as that Chelsea defence. Like man for man, it's nowhere near it.
Yeah, I think we'll definitely there'll be a lot of wins to 0 next season for Arsenal. Probably more away from home because we do struggle at home to keep a clean sheet.
More like 1-0 to the Arsenal.
More like 4-0, but yeah, probably 1-0. 1-0 to the Arsenal.
So you're going to be. So let's just want to explore the mind of the Arsenal fan here. You're going to increase your attacking amount loads or keep it the same, and your defence is going to become a lot better without any downside.
The evolution of Arsenal would suggest that we will be better as a team, because Arteta has taken us this journey. I don't know. It was just a question. I think maybe we'll definitely concede many less goals than we did last season, and with a defence of Ben White, Saliba, Gabriel, and Calafiori, or Timber rotating in as well. You have a very very good, solid, big defence. You're not going to get beaten many times over the top with that defence, or on corners and things like that. So I think it's going to be a very
You'll be
very,
in the top
very
three.
Good team.
Top 3 defences in the league for sure. Like 100% guaranteed that. But will you be the best? I don't know. I know that you rate him and loads of other people rate him. I'm still unsure about your goalie. I just don't think he's a title winning goalie. Average.
I agree, Leon. Look, we'll come on to another player that I love immensely, but I loved Ramsdale, and in my mind, Ramsdale overall is a better goalkeeper than Raya. But for what Arteta wants our goalkeeper to do, Raya is one of the best. We're not going to be able to grab Alisson. We're not going to be able to grab
Ederson.
Even Ederson, I don't know. In terms of that kind of, I want my goalkeeper to essentially be an outfield player. Raya is in the kind of the top echelons of goalkeepers. But I completely agree. I don't think he is a top 3 goalkeeper in the world, or I think he's probably top 3, top 4 in the Premier League. But yeah, there was always some issue, I think, with Raya. But hopefully, like last season, our defence is going to be so strong is that he's not going to have to face much. Right?
No, he won't.
We're going to stop those the ball going, it like having those shots. So that's what I would hope.
I would wager a bet here and say that if your contention is that you think potentially Arsenal might beat tongue in cheek, beat the 15 goals conceded in a season, I would say that Arsenal will concede double that in the entire season in the Premier League. Will concede roughly 30, 25 to 30 goals.
Under that is a if I take the under on that and you take the over on that, we'll have a £10 bet for charity. End of the season, we'll see who's right. You'll probably got more chance than my bet of my banker of the year of that Rodri that's gonna win the Ballon d'Or. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see, definitely. To end the transfer segment, obviously Calafiore, great coming in. Heartbreaking news for me is that Smith Rowe has left Arsenal now, gone to Fulham. Great money for him. Although we probably would have got more if he was a Chelsea reserve that never played before, and we were selling into Villa or something like that, because they somehow got more than that for their players. But yeah, really heartbreaking, to be honest. Smith Rowe, for me, I when Arsenal win the league, it's going to be slightly sad not seeing Smith Rowe lifting that title alongside Saka and alongside Martinelli, because those three players really dragged us from the depths of Adebayor, that's taken me back. So Aubameyang and Lacazette and Pepe, these Guendouzi, Traore, sorry, the defensive midfielder, the Uruguayan defensive midfielder. He was one of the catalysts that really kind of saved Arteta's job, but was just so amazing to watch, and I'm really looking forward to seeing him like blossom at Fulham. I think he will be a great player, and yeah, like it's one of those things where it's very sad to see a youth team player that has succeeded in the first team. He had those injuries and just could not get back into that team after the injuries happened. But yeah, really sad. Smith Rowe for me, one of my favourite players in the current kind of era of Arsenal. Great player, and sad to see him go, but really happy that he's stayed in the Premier League. And Fulham should be a team that, okay, they're not going to be challenging for top 6, but they may be challenging for maybe trying to get into Europe, trying to get into that UEFA Conference League spot. And let's see where that can take them.
8th to 16th, Fulham.
Yeah, well, there's obviously a lot of teams that fall into that spot. You have probably your top 6, and you have your 2 floaters. I think Fulham could definitely be up the top there, and maybe 8th might get them Conference League next season, depending on who wins the FA Cup and whether we do well enough in Europe this season to get the extra Champions League spot as well.
Yeah, I mean, from a Liverpool perspective, honestly, I don't understand the selling of Smith Rowe. I'm sure Arteta and Edu and all the boys involved are much cleverer than me. I don't understand a homegrown, young English talent who covers or can cover Odegaard, Martinelli, Saka at a push, and even play as a false 9 if you wanted him to play a different position for you. Why you would sell one of the best young talents in those positions to London's worst/second worst team? And I don't know why he would go. Maybe he's like, I'm not going to play at all then, which again is crazy to me. It's like Smith Rowe has the potential to I mean, maybe this is blowing smoke up him a bit, but he has the sort of potential to have done what like Cole Palmer did, but maybe not to that level. Like,
Yeah, no. I think he's not going to get into. He probably won't be starting many games, and he's at that age where he probably wants to play. He had 2 years left on his contract, so we're looking. If we didn't sell him this season, we're looking at last season, last year of the contract, and of course this whole thing since Chelsea's new management came in, everyone's looking at, it's pure profit. It's pure profit. We didn't pay any money for him, so it gets us on the books. We can recognise all that revenue this year, and then because when you recognise 25 million, you're essentially recognising probably more like 100 million in the ability to go out and spend this year, because then you can go and put that 25 million over 4 or 5 years, and then it turns out to kind of 100, 125. So I see why they did it, but very, very sad. And of course, one of my favourite chants when I go to Arsenal would be the Saka and Smith Rowe chant, and we're not going to hear that. My big shout out, hopefully to any Arsenal fans listening to it that will go. I really do hope that we do give Smith Rowe a final serenade when either Fulham come to Arsenal or the away fans go to Fulham. Probably only if we're beating Fulham at that time, but yeah, I do hope to hear Saka and Smith Rowe one more time before the next season's out.
yeah, it'd be good. I mean, I feel your pain. I feel your pain. I know the like functional equivalent of Liverpool players. Funnily enough, like Harry Wilson was like in the reserves in the under-20s was like amazing, like this amazing set piece taker, like a left-footed Beckham. And it's like, oh, he's gonna be the next everything. And he came through and he did quite well for us when he played in like the League Cup and played in the Premier League a little bit. And then I think he's at Fulham now.
Yeah, he could be. He could be. Fulham do like to take those players.
And that's the problem with a club like Fulham is, are they?
Yeah.
Just middle. And don't get me wrong, I know why Smith Rowe would like potentially go, because he's like, I can start, I can maybe be the big fish in the small pond, I can maybe build a reputation for myself. If I'm completely honest with you, I can see him being at someone like Chelsea.
Yeah, well, there were rumours last season, well, the beginning before last season started, that Chelsea were interested and were going to bid for him when they were buying all that. But just before they bought Cole Palmer, they were looking at Smith Rowe. But I think Arteta said, no, I want you in our squad next season. I can see why a young London-based player would want to go to Fulham. I mean, he based in London, he doesn't have to move. They're not going to be scrapping for relegation. They're probably, they're going to be winning about the same amount of games that they lose. There's going to be opportunities. He's still going to be in the Premier League. There's opportunities for him to consolidate his position and maybe use it as a stepping stone to move on to bigger things. But let's see. He's definitely going. Smith Rowe will definitely be a starter in my fantasy football team next year. Just purely out of just love for him, though, rather than actual tactics.
He'll start a lot and do a lot for Fulham. He'll be their main geezer, their main player.
Yeah.
Like, surely I can't think of anyone at Fulham that is as good as Smith Rowe.
No, well, they lost is it Paulinho? They lost him to Bayern Munich, but he was a bit of a different player.
Yeah, defensive.
Yeah, so he's probably coming into that player, and he gets to link up to with Iwobi as well. Another one of the players that I used to absolutely love at Arsenal.
Yeah, and then he became a defensive midfielder as well, didn't he?
I think he's staying as that attacking.
Yeah, he moved to Fulham, but for Everton he played in defensive midfield for like ages.
Oh, did he? Well, that's Everton. They love it. They love a defender, Lil. If you're not a defender, they'll make you one. So.
Yeah, and especially with Sean Dyche as the manager now, they're like, wow, just tackle. Can you tackle? And you run? Yeah, all right, Sam, you can play.
Yeah. So
No, yeah.
Real. Any other transfers that you've seen over the last couple of weeks that you think, oh, they could be interesting, they could be one to watch for the rest of the season?
My pick of transfers so far is Calafiori to you. Like, I wanted Liverpool to buy him, and I think that he's just like, I might have even said it on one of the podcasts, but he's like the regen of Maldini. It's just unreal.
Yeah.
So,
well, I'm hoping that's true. I'm hoping
it's
that's
really incredible. Heard it here first. He's going to be incredible. Funny that a really big team in England buys an Italian defender, and he might be good. What a take!
Yeah. And
Controversial.
He also plays left centre back. So Maldini, mate. If I'm looking on Chant Man, he's that regen.
Yeah. Although that's arguably Maldini.
Yeah, I need to check his birth date, because if he's got the same birthday as Maldini as well, he's definitely 100% that regen. So it's
regened him. Yeah, life has actually. Yeah. Well.
So, Leon, talking about Emile Smith Rowe leaving and no longer being able to hear the Saka and Emile Smith Rowe football chant, I thought it'd be a nice way for this podcast for us to talk about our favourite chants that no longer are about anymore due to other players retiring or being sold on. Now, I've had to make sure that I've only picked ones that aren't going to get us cancelled. So nothing too rude. But let's have a chat about our favourite chants. I know we'll start with one of yours, and it is one of my favourites as well. And it's not too bad, but yeah, Adam Johnson, the Adam Johnson chant, which I think is which demonstrates the humour of the English football fan, really.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like the beauty of English, British, all the same, really. Like chants, like proper chants, is the insane amount of like ad-libbing on a massive scale. They're the best things. Like when it first turns up, how everyone in the crowd just immediately knows the song.
Yeah.
Like, and I know some people look and research it, and there are like fan channels. I know there's like a Liverpool fan channel where it has all the words to all the chants, so you can go and learn them. I'm sure it's the same for Arsenal and every club, but that one time, and I mean, the beautiful thing about the Adam Johnson situation is that it's like, as a society, we won. So like, it's kind of funny to take it's almost like cheerio, you know, when you get a red card. As soon as you have that, it's like tongue-in-cheek, subtle yet obvious humour, and I sort of like that. Like, I don't know if you've seen this one. This would be it can't ever really be recreated because I can't remember what club it was at, but there was a steward at one of the, I think it was at the Euros actually, but one of the games, and he looked like the I don't know his name, the big fat bloke off the Chase.
The Beast.
Yeah, and so they were chanting at him, going, "You've got the chase in the morning, chase in the morning," and he was like, he obviously clocked. Okay, and then, I mean, look at it on YouTube. It's on YouTube. He looks exactly like him. It's so good, and no one like went around whispering to each other, "Don't he look like the chase? Don't he look like..." That's all, and it's the whole. Like, it's so loud. It's just the whole stadium almost singing it, but it's obviously the stand near him, and that's just beautiful. So I know it's not exactly what you asked, but that sort of thing is what I love the most.
Yeah, no, definitely. Of course, I just digressing before I get back onto to the list here. But yeah, did you see the policeman that looked? Honestly, I thought it was Gareth Southgate. He just separated at birth, but the banter that the English fans gave him, and they were serenading him, which I thought was superb. So you've got to love the lookalikes.
The only thing that annoyed me about that, and I absolutely think you're right, is that he's the one who missed the penalty in Euro '96.
What, that guy?
That's the imposter. That's the
guy.
That's
what happened. Do you reckon it devastated Southgate so much? He went, right, I'm going to move to Germany. Like they're gonna like me over there, and I'm gonna completely change my career path. I'm gonna be a policeman. Little did he know
Yeah.
that in what my maths is 28 years later that the Euros were coming back, and he was like, yeah, okay. I'll regret my decision.
What am I doing here? Yeah, that's how that's sort of how
But
I
yeah,
see it.
but on that front, I love those chants that pick up something from either a rivalry that just happened or anything like that, or you know someone looks like someone else, so you get a chant about it like the Beast. One of my favourite, shout out to the Leeds fans, if any Leeds fans are listening, but the Leeds fans chant to Frank Lampard through the tune of "Stop Crying Your Heart Out." I thought was hilarious, and it's one of those things where it's, you know, Leeds and Derby probably not traditional rivals, but it was just a great chant, which we don't hear anymore because obviously Frank Lampard's no longer a manager of Derby or anyone themselves.
No, yeah.
That would probably be the fifth on my list. I'd say Will Griggs, and Will Griggs is on fire. I think that the reason why I love that one is that was kind of the iconic 2016 song. You know, Northern Ireland in the championship for one of the first times in their history. I thought it was such a great and uplifting song for that.
And then Will Grigg loved that. It was quality because he played for Wigan as well, didn't he? And they used to sing it for Wigan when he was like, good.
It was always bubbling away when he played for Wigan. But when he get onto the big stage, it was great.
Amazing.
Another great one, which you. Sorry, go on, Leon.
I was going to say rubbish player though, but had a quality song.
I don't know, mate. I used to think he was one of those players that probably could have played higher in the league, a bit like Lee Trundle, but just chose not to. I think.
Lee Trundle, he was amazing. Can't be having Lee Trundle and.
But just
can't be having Lee Trundle and Will Grigg in the same conversation, mate. Like Lee Trundle was doing Cruyff turns when he was about 3. Do you know what I mean? He was doing step overs and bamboozling defenders, mate, in the Welsh League. He's a tornado.
Oh, mate, he was no doubt, and I never throw any shade on on Lee Trundle, mate. Great.
Lee Trundle, what a blast from the past that is, boss. That's a great shout. Great
next
player. Quality.
Next on the list, Leon. What do you think about this one? He's big. He's red. His feet stick out the bed. It's Peter Crouch. Love it, man. So descriptive. So simple. Classic tune. You don't hear it very often. I mean, you may still get sung at Anfield, but I don't visit Anfield that much. But yeah, it was always great to hear, and he took it so well as well. He used to love the chant himself.
He loves it, and when he's doing like TNT/BT stuff and like European nights and things like that, and he's on the side of the pitch doing the like interview when he's not in the studio, when he's actually out, you will hear it close to him. People will sing it because Peter Crouch was absolutely loved by Liverpool fans. It's so crazy. Like, we supported him so much because he didn't score for like 30 games or something stupid like that. And then he finally scored, and really it was an own goal. But he scored, and he even, I don't know if you listened to a lot of Peter Crouch, but he was talking about it and saying how much that meant to him, that it gave him the confidence to just keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going. So yeah, he's a, and everyone was devastated when he left because like he was actually pretty good for us. I think he ended up scoring close to 1 and 2. Like, and I know that's not good now, but like that was the that seal of approval back then, wasn't it?
Oh yeah. Oh man, look. Crouchy's Crouchy, mate. I mean, I've just about forgiven him for scoring a hat trick against Arsenal, but that's another topic completely.
Yeah. Other chants then. So, trying to think of the tune that I used to really enjoy. It's such a. The idea of why I like this is because it's so crap. It was Rafa Benitez was the Liverpool manager, and it was Rafa Benitez, Luis Garcia, Alonso and Nunes, and it just named all it was just naming our Spanish players. That's it.
Just lump them all in.
There's
Just
not,
lump them all into one name, mate. Yeah.
yeah. And I mean, obviously, we'll hear it forever, but I love LA, 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 the Liverpool song. It's
Yeah, those are the classics. I think lots of the clubs have those almost like a stock chant, and you just start putting them on there. One I love, but a bit of an old school one, is the Bobby Zamora chant. It goes a bit like this: when you're sat in Rosed and the ball hits your head, that's Zamora. What a tune! What a classic tune, and so true as well. So true.
Totally agree. Funny.
Of course, man. Of course. And for me, my number one chant, which I'll never hear again, is Saka and Smith Rowe. Like, what a song! I sing that to my daughter when I used to put her to bed. Used to sing the Saka and Smith Rowe song to her every night. So trying to indoctrinate her into supporting Arsenal from day one. So.
And like all the other songs that basically I would want to mention here are unfortunately ones that would either get me accosted by many people outside or banned from YouTube and demonetized and all that.
Yeah.
Because I like the dark side of football, and you can look into them yourselves. That's all I'll say. Some of them.
What we've chatted about today. They're a bit more. They're the cleaner, funnier chants. Apart from the Adam Johnson one, but we didn't speak about that much. And obviously, disgusting actions, but disgusting actions, funny chant. You got to weigh it up. What's there?
You've got to add a bit of.
If anyone's listening, and they have their favourite chants, chuck them in the comments. Great to hear from our listeners about what their favourite chants are, especially if you support a team that's kind of outside the Prem, or from or in another league, and bring those chants to the forefront as well.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. Like, not stupid ones like "Not far the greatest team the world has ever seen."
Yeah,
like I've heard that on whatever Under Armour advert or whatever it is too much already, so I don't need to hear that. And before that advert came out with that, I'd already heard that from playing football in my youth and going to different grounds. That's the worst song ever.
Every club that the Arsenal sing it. I'm sure Liverpool sing it. Man U sing it. Chelsea. Everyone sings. When I was looking into it, I did find some funny chants, mainly just about John Terry and keeping your wife away from John Terry. I thought they were very funny. They were very funny.
Yeah, agreed. There's too many. There's ones about, like, if I just throw random players out there, I'll just say there's some about Carlos Tevez that are very funny. There's some about Ji-sung Park that are very funny. There was some about.
We're not going that way. We're not.
No, if you lot want to go and have a look, you go and have a look at the dark side of YouTube.
Yeah.
You will remain.
I think that's a great chance to now kind of take a short break, and when we come back, we are going to do a new feature on the podcast. It is sharing mine and Leon's not just love for football, but also for Championship Manager. So we are going to take a very short break now, and we are going to come back in a few minutes with our segment of our fantasy Champman draft. See you in a bit.
No. Bye.
Welcome back, everyone, from that short break. So, as I mentioned just before the break, this is a new segment that we're introducing. Hopefully, you guys will all like it. Me and Leon will do, because we absolutely love not only football, as I mentioned before, but also Championship Manager. And you'll notice I'm saying Championship Manager, not Football Manager, because where we love is the old Champman games, before it got a bit too complicated and a bit too time consuming for us. So what we're going to be doing is as everyone has seen on social media and any football podcast, people are doing their fantasy drafts of their current of the current players. So we thought we'd do a little spin on this, and we're going to do our fantasy draft for Championship Manager 0102 game. Now there are a few rules here. We're only going to be allowed to pick 2 iconic legends in our team, and the rest are going to be made up from wonder kids and players that really were only good on Championship Manager. Every Championship Manager you'll ever play, you'll see lots of wonder kids, lots of players that have just been, how have they got that rating? You know, which one of the developers supports their team, and which one of the developers is that their favourite player. So lots of that. What we're going to do now is we're going to talk about our fantasy draft, and we're going to go through this. And we're not just going to go through and pick our teams each. We're also going to put those teams into Championship Manager, and we're going to have a playoff against the teams. Now, to truly find who has the best Championship Manager 0102 draft. What we want to do as well is get your comments in the comments section about who would be your fantasy draft on Championship Manager 0102, and we will then take that draft as well, and we will fight against the winner of me and Leon. So really looking forward to it. Really need our listeners to engage and put their thoughts in, and see who can pick the best draft of Champ Man. Of course, it is a draft, so like with all drafts, we can't pick the same players. We're going to take it into turns to pick out our team, and once we've done that, we're going to load that into Champ Man, and we're going to have a one-off friendly to see which one of those teams wins. Hopefully, it's going to be a bit of fun. I know I'm looking forward to it. I've done my little research. I've been playing a lot of Champ Man over the last couple of weeks to reconnect with it, and to see kind of who I want in my team. So before we go into the players that no one's ever heard of, but have brought me and Leon many hours of joy watching them score hundreds of goals in each season, we are going to go and pick 2 players that we want in our team that probably the majority of football fans are going to have heard of. And you've got to remember, this is Champ Man 0102, so we're talking about 22 years ago these players were in the game, but some legends there. So Leon, you won it wasn't a coin toss, it was a lighter toss at the end. So you can go first, and you've got to pick your 2 legends of the game that you would like, and also name your captain and name the formation that you're going to play in.
Okay. So, said to you before this, Will, that I was going to do this on the fly to make it a bit more difficult for myself. And it's quite funny now, because originally I had 2 names in my head, and I was like, that's it, that's who I'm having. And now I've become really vindictive, and I'm like, who are you going to pick, and who can I pick to annoy you?
Well, I'll tell you what, if you pick...
I'm not going to pick him.
That's fine. You can have Omri. That's absolutely fine. It will hurt me seeing him score against me, but you can have him.
But I'm not doing that. And also, I want to put at this point, there's many names I could pick, and some of them heart-based and some of them logic-based. But in all honesty, the player... Should we do it? I'll pick one, you pick one,
So
or I pick both my legends?
You pick your 2 legends, I'll pick my 2 legends, then we're going to go on to the main draft. I will pick first, cool. You will pick the next 2, I will pick the next 2 after that, so it makes it fair, so we're not just stealing the best players straight away.
Well, I mean, there's only 2 players I'm going to ever pick, and it's going to be...
Before you pick, what formation are you going to play, Leon?
I'm going to play... 4-3-3. 3 central strikers. Yeah, I think so.
Who are your 2 legends?
Oh, sorry. 4-2-2-2.
The old Brazil formation.
Go
Legendary.
For it. So yeah, well, that makes my first pick very obvious because that won't work in Championship Manager without one player, and you're going to want him too. But Patrick Vieira.
Yeah, that was the painfulness of losing the
Light.
So
And
Patrick
the other
Vieira,
player and the other player is Walter Samuel.
fair enough. Two amazing players, and giving yourself that solid formation for that 4-2-2-2 formation. Now,
It's so annoying. There's so many strikers I want.
of course, but there's so many strikers on the game that we can bring in that we know are going to bang in goals. So,
True.
for me, either of those going to be your captain?
Well, I suppose we said one of the legends is going to have to be our captain, so Patrick Vieira is my captain then.
PV, what a legend! A legend of the game, a legend of Champ Man, best player on the game, and
Best player on the game. Yeah.
I love him. I love PV. Yeah. He's an absolute legend. What a guy! What a player! What a great manager as well that just didn't get the time as well. So that'd be my piece on him. So I'm gonna go.
Great.
I'm also gonna go 4. I'm gonna have 4 at the back, but essentially not really because my fullbacks are going to be wing backs. So
Same.
I'm going to have, and then I'm going to have 2 in midfield. Sorry, 3 in midfield, an attacking midfielder, and 2 strikers. So a 4-3-1-2. I am going to go, because you stole PV, annoyingly, I am going to take, and again, guys, if you haven't played Champman 0102, Pirlo is a defensive midfielder / forward left. So very, very great player. Really, really, really great player. He's going to be number 1. And because my heart is overruling, and I didn't want to really cheat because he's not just a Champman. He's not really a Champman legend or a legend of the game, but sitting alongside him with the heartbeat of that team, Leon already knows, is the one, the only, Mr. Raymond Parler. And he is going to be sitting there. And of course, who's going to be my captain? Ray Parler, of course. Legend of the game. Legend of the game. Also, because I've gone this way, it means you cannot choose Stevie G now. So you can't pick Stevie G in your team.
I know. Yeah, I wanted him, but all stats. He's all gear, no idea in that chat.
He very much is in chat, man. So we've started off with a really strong Walter Samuel in defence and PV up front. PV in defensive midfield, and I have got my midfield shorn up with Pirlo and Ray Parler. Amazing. Ray Parler is my captain. So now we're going on to the picks. So it's going to be a friendly game, but because it's a friendly, we can have the same setup as the modern day part with 7 subs. So we're going to have 11 starters, 7 subs, and my first starter is going to be in goal, and it is the one, the only Sebastian Frey. Now, people may have heard of Sebastian Frey, but he was no way a legend of the game. So I'm having him in. Leon, who's your 2?
Definitely not the legend of the game. So who's my next pick? My next pick is... Okay, it's getting serious now. And I'm only 2 players in. No, man. Okay. Mike Duff.
Mike Duff, what a legend. Cheltenham legend, Northern Ireland legend, and he also is a good manager now. So, who's your next pick, Leon? You get 2.
Get 2.
You get 2.
Okay,
I get 2 after that.
I can't remember, which is poor of me, but Mike Duff is defender right centre in Champ 0102, isn't he?
He is, yeah.
So, centre back, he can be. Yeah, he can be my centre back. Okay, so I get another pick. All right, okay. All right then, Harbuzi.
Okay, stealing my big boys. Okay, that's absolutely fine. So Harbuzi's there, sitting alongside PV,
Someone
or maybe
no,
he's one of the 2 holes. One of the 2 holes. That's absolutely fine. I am gonna go So I need a strong. If I've got Ray Parlour trying to hold back your attack, I'm probably going to need a strong defence going on here. So I am going to go with Lewis Buxton.
That was the
legend.
other one I was. Oh, he's so good.
He is very, very good. I am also going to pick Alexandros Papadopoulos.
I knew it was coming.
There you go.
Just legend. Just like scores 100 goals a season. So that's not good for me. I might throw in a little crazy sidewinder at the end. I might leave one of the strikers to the very end. Surprise you. Oh, God. Right back and left back. Central midfield. The problem is that some of the people that were like legends on the game have turned out to be really, really good, but like nowhere near as good as they are on that game. I'll give you an example that I'm not going to pick, but Van der Vaart.
Yeah, he's too well known. He's too well known. He's not allowed on the game.
Exactly. So I am going to go for a... There are a couple of obvious ones, and I'm thinking in my... Alright, let's get it. Can I have Enzo Maresca?
Of course you can have Enzo Maresca, mate. Of course.
Could I have Enzo Maresca? I don't know if I want him, though.
I'll put a timer on this, Leon, as well. This is a quick fire game.
Alright, okay then. Then I'll just go straight in with my next Hull player being Ryan Williams.
Great shout. He was on my list.
Okay. And then my central midfielder, David Bryan, if I'm going to have to pick them.
You're killing me here, man. You're killing me. The only thing I can say is he's only 15 when the game starts.
I know, that's why I didn't want to pick him. But I did.
So.
Team's not looking.
Okay. So my next two are going to be I need to bulk out my defence here. I am going to bring a player, and apologies, this player's never watching, but if this player is watching, apologies for me absolutely butchering his name. So his name is Nikos Andrealos. Andrielos. Greek defender, obscene in the game. That's my twos. So old Nikos. And who did I also say? Or did I not give
You only
it?
said one. You only gave one to... Yeah. Okay.
Sigalko.
That's two cheat code strikers. It's not good for me.
Cheat codes. 100%. Yeah, I do have the cheat code strikers, don't I?
Old Sigalko. So is it me?
It is you now, mate.
Okay. So I'm going to go with... so left back, Kaladze.
Great shout.
Right back.
Great shout. You have got that right hand side absolutely
On lock.
God, I'm not even, because my next right back, I don't think I'm allowed him, am I? It would be Joaquin.
No. I mean, he won the World Cup and the Euros and the World Cup, so I don't think he's... Do you know what I mean?
Fair enough. I will go with Mark Kerr as one of my centre midfields.
Big Scottish legend.
Scottish legend.
Yeah.
And
Bye.
Wilfred Boomer as my left back.
Oh, that was a great shout. That was the other left back that I was going to go for, but I went more defensive. And now I'm thinking I should have gone offensive.
Oh, who did you go left back? Apologies, can I change? I thought you would have picked it just by instant.
I know, because there was two. Yeah, they were the two I was going, Jamie Victory or Boomer. But to me, Kaladze has been less heard of. So I was like, I'm going to... Well, I mean, not the Jamie Victory, but more so than... And I wanted to give you at least one of the Chelts. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, good shout. Good shout. Good lad. So Victory's there for me.
Yep.
Who are you going for now?
No, you got another one, haven't you? You only picked Victory.
Victory and Mark Kerr.
Oh, okay, sorry. So I've only got goalkeeper and 2 strikers left.
And I have... I've got a left back and my hold player.
And the problem I'm facing is there's only one goalie I can really think of. Oh, no, I can think of a second one. So I'm going to go for, I can't pronounce his first name exactly. I think it's Rastalian Nigmilitan as my Russian...
Oh, classic Russian keeper. Yeah, good shout.
Someone who no one has ever heard of, unless you've played Champ Manager, because I don't even know if he is actually a real footballer. Okay, so now we're into the strikers. So we're gonna pick one. We're gonna pick one big boy. I think it's got to be one sort of like wonder kid / legend. And now I'm sifting through 3 of them in my head, and I don't know what one I want to go for. So give me 10 seconds in my head, and I'm gonna have an answer for you. Samba.
Great shout. Great shout. Cherno Samba on Championship Manager is one of the best players that you can pick. Yeah. And then one more.
Well, I just did goalie and striker.
Okay.
So I can finish my team off if you want. But...
You finished off your team. Okay, I'll finish off my team now then. And I'm going to go with Julius Agahawa as my whole player. And my right back is Brett Emerton.
Good shout. Some good players.
Now I know Brett Emerton played for Blackburn. He was but he wasn't. He's not exactly a legend of the game.
No, he's not. I'll give you Emerton. That's fine. It's good remembering, and it's you don't. There's a few players that are in that sort of ilk. For example, I'll give you if I said to you, because I've got one striker left, if I randomly just said to you that I'm going to buy Michael Bridges, I'm not, but I'm just saying he's well known, but not to the level where he's Brett Emerton, that. So we're allowed them for sure.
Yeah.
But no, obviously I've got one more position. My final striker is Jocelyn. What
an excellent first team.
My team is ridiculous.
Perfect. Now we've got our starting 11. Leon, we need 7 players on our bench. So what's your bench? Who you're benching?
Okay. So I'll go through them. All my bench, and I'll note positions as I go. So I've got 3 strikers or forwards: Julian Alsop, 2 Madeira, and Neil Mellor. I've got a goalie in Uwe Gospodarek, 2 central defenders in Greg Strong and Matty Upson, and a attacking midfielder / central midfielder really, but Kim Kallstrom.
Good shout. So my bench is going to be Pelazzoli, the Roma goalkeeper, Lucas Neal, who again I believe played for Blackburn. He's Australian, left everything. A Wilfred Boomer, Yakubu, who played for Barnet. Another one of these players that is unbelievably rated in Championship Manager. I believe he was he was linked to Arsenal quite a lot, but I don't think his career panned out. Kevin Hoffland, Franny Jeffers, of course, and finally Tonton Zola Makoko.
Yeah.
So
Derby's finest.
Derby's finest. So what we're going to do, we're going to put these players into a team, guys. We are going to simulate a match with these two teams, and the winner is going to have the title of the Red Cartel's Champman's fantasy football draft. That team is also going to be the team that's going to be able to take on any of our listeners' teams that they want to put in, and give that, and we're going to do that. We're also going to show a video of the match as well, and do some fun things around there as well. Really looking forward to this. Look, I think it's going to be a tight game, but very much looking forward to it. Hopefully, if you guys like this, we will do some more of these sorts of things. Maybe do some fantasy drafts for some other Championship Manager games, and we're going to play them out. Look, guys, if you find this interesting, come comment your teams. If we get enough teams, we're going to put all those teams together, and we're going to have our very own Championship Manager 0102 league, and we're going to see which team wins. Remember, we can't have the same players in multiple different teams, but feel free to use the players out of any of the out of the team that doesn't win this head to head. So this we'll have a video shortly following on from the podcast. Watch it, like it, comment on it, and hopefully you guys will enjoy putting together your Championship Manager 0102 teams as much as me and Leon have enjoyed putting them together, and answering the question, who dominates that midfield, PV or Perlo? Unfortunately, I think it's PV, but let's see.
Yeah, it's going to be good. It's fun to do. It's going to be good. I'm a little bit concerned about your strike force. Little bit concerned about that.
I do have two cheat codes.
Yeah. And Samba and Jocelyn are too young. Jocelyn's on 15.
Yeah, that was the thing. And you got a 15-year-old Habuzi trying to set them up as well.
Yeah.
But the wonders of Championship Manager, they take no notice of the age. So that's always good.
David Bryan will still pass the ball 100 times, even though he's 15.
Yeah. And guys, just David Bryan, just to let you know, is one of mine and Leon's favourite players. And the reason why, he's playing at 15 at Southend, and he when he gets a bit older, he completes over 100 passes in, I'd say, at least 50% of his games. Absolute diamond in midfield. Superb. Yeah. I told Leon this story already, and I'll put it to air now. If I ever win the Euros, I will be buying Southend United, and I will be installing David Bryan as a lifelong president of Southend United, and I'll watch him develop that team and develop the club into a Premier League side. David Bryan, absolute legend. I can't cheer too much for you at the moment because you're not on my side, but what a legend that player is.
We'll
Guys,
see.
It's been Leon. Have you got any closing thoughts before we end the podcast? And remember, straight after this podcast, you'll be able to watch the video of mine and Leon's teams coming up. I'm sure I haven't thought of a name yet. It will probably be something like Parlour Select 11. That's generally my thing. Any sort of Ray Parlour reference will always be in my team.
Yeah, I haven't thought for mine yet. It'll be something, I'm sure, funny, but not to the top of my head. I mean, my old team used to be called Sky Blues, and the team I managed, girls' football team I managed, used to be called Riverside Strikers. So I suppose I could use one of them. The funny name that put my teeth back in. Funny name I used to use is what my dad used to call Liverpool, because he's a Southampton fan and he used to take the mickey out of me, and he used to call them Liverpuddle. So I might call them that.
There we go.
But yeah,
let's see. So guys, it's been a pleasure. Hopefully you've listened to the end. This has been the second ever Red Cartel podcast. It's not just about football, it's about Champ Man as well, and just things that me and Leon enjoy, and hopefully you guys enjoy too. Really looking forward to seeing the comments, seeing the kind of the teams that you would put out to try and beat either my team or Leon's team, and let's see whether we can get some, at least 10 teams, and if we get to 10 teams, we'll put them in a league and we will play out the season for you guys, and you can kind of get involved and see who's the winner. And the winner, if we get to that 10-team mark, the winner will have a special prize that myself and Leon will provide. One last thing before I mention the forfeit for myself or Leon losing the game will be that on our next podcast, myself or Leon will be in a Man City shirt. So,
yeah,
thank you guys. It's been an absolute pleasure. Really enjoyed it. And until next time, see you later.
All right, see you guys later. And the last thing to leave you with before you go is none of you, including Will, none of you will beat my team. Simple.
Strong words.